In our last session, we have covered the Power Platform components, variable, and the logical condition with the logical operator. So if anyone have any query on the last session, then they can ask, else we will cover today's session. Let me share my screen. Power. So in our last session, we have covered the conditions, the if condition. Now there is another logical condition is switch. The switch is basically will work also similar to the if, but switch we use basically there where we have the possibility of the multiple values from the single variable. If I am expecting multiple values from the single variable, in that case, switch is better than the if. So let me take the one example of the switch condition, switch and case. So switch is basically the combination of switch of case. So if I'll take the one variable as city and I'm entering the I'm taking the city as a Delhi. Now in the switch, I will use first, I will drag this action switch, then switch, it will ask which value I need to check. So first I need to give the input, my input value, which will be my variable or it can be anything. Maybe I am reading some data from the Excel, so I can give that value or anything. So I am using the city here. Now we will use the condition. What all condition it should check. So I will use if my city is equal to Jaipur, then it should uh, drop the message box something like that is cities and my variable. It should pop up the message with this cities this, and if I want to use, I can use the multiple condition. If my city is equal to Chennai, then I will copy and paste the same, or we can apply some other condition. I will use one more switch. If my city is equals to Delhi, then it should pop up this, and none of the condition will true, then it should be, there should be some default condition. What
आजा इस साइड आना मत आ जाना ये कौन सा क्लास है कौन भी
पावर ऑटोमेट
अच्छा मतलब ऑफिस से है क्या
नहीं कर रही हूँ
रिकॉर्डेड वीडियो में
हाँ ना
Rajneesh,
रिकॉर्डेड
you are
मिलेगा
the host.
इसलिए
You only have to mute wherever you
Data
feel is the
science.
disturbance.
So guys, you can see this is the combination of the switch condition. So switch condition, what it will do, it will come, I am comparing the city with the inputs. So in first case, I'm comparing Jaipur, Chennai, Delhi, and in the default case, if none of the condition will true, then in that case it should trigger this condition. So it will go one by one. Now it is going to this condition and it is comparing, yes, my city is Delhi, this condition is getting true, so it will exit from there and it will exit. Now if I enter my city something else, for example Patna, so what it will do, none of my condition getting true, so it will trigger the default condition. city is not found. So this is the switch condition. Switch condition is basically where I'm expecting the multiple values. If you want to apply multiple condition in, you have some condition like you have to apply multiple condition. In that case, if is the better is to use the if. If you are using, you are expecting multiple output with single variable, in that case you can use the switch condition. Now another thing that I want to show. Now if condition I have shown you, if condition we can apply the, I can apply something like this. If switch city is equal to Delhi, then it should work something like display message city found. Now what if I want to apply the multiple multiple condition, like city is Delhi, and I also have the condition my city can be also can be Chennai. So I should check whether my city is equal to Delhi or my city is equal to Chennai. So so one so one approach I can use the else if. I will use the nested if. I will use add one more if condition. So better to avoid those condition, I will use the and or operator. If you know, then it's good. If somebody is not know what is and or operator, so and it will work. I will give the value like if my city is equal to Chennai, and I will use the and operator. In with the and operator, both the conditions should be true. So if my city is equal to Delhi and my city is equal to Chennai, in those cases we will use the and gate where those conditions should be true. And then we have the or gate. So I will apply the my city is equal to Delhi or my city is equal to Chennai. So when we apply the or, so in that case, any one of them condition should true. So how I will write the multiple logical expression in this one? So I will apply city is equal to Delhi or city is equal to Chennai. And rather than applying it as, I will write here. It is saying okay. I have not. So text value always separated with enclosed with this column. It is a normal programming rule. Text value always either in some programming language should be enclosed by inverted comma or single column. So in the Power Automate, it should be enclosed by single column. So I will apply this condition. Now my condition is coming as Patna. So in that case, it will not work, uh, do anything. It will directly exit from the if condition. Now I am entering my value as this Chennai. So because this condition is not getting true, city is equal to Delhi. It is not able to find it, but we have applied the OR gate, and but this condition is getting true because my city is equal to Chennai, and I am using the OR gate. If I am using here and gate A and D, then it is not. It should exit the if because that condition will not get true. So in this case, my city is equal to Chennai. That's why it is showing as a city found. So this is our logical condition where we can use if switch condition, if with the gates, or and in case of multiple conditions. So this is with if. Any question on this? Okay, I'm considering this as a no. So next one, I have to show you the recorders. So in the Power Automate desktop, we do also have the recorders. So recorders is basically to record the any automation that you want to do, so you can record those steps as well. So if you will see here in the menu bar, we have the option as a tools, and under tools we have the recorder. I will click on this one. So when I click, you will see this pop-up is coming, and it is coming from that recorder button. So once this will open, you can see here we have this button, record. So when I will click on this button, it will start recording the steps. Whatever steps I need to perform, it will start capturing each and every record. So let me show you. I will click on this one, record. Now you'll see now it is coming as pause, or I can reset the all the step from here. So for example, I click here. I want to open the browser. I will click here. I will open the browser. Now in the browser, or you can also delete these steps. If you want to delete some steps, you can delete also. I will enter here. So make sure when you are recording your this border, which is basically your element capture, this should come. That means Power Automate is able to capture this particular element. I will enter google.com. I will hit enter from the keyboard. So you will see here, it is also capturing the keys. What are the keys that I am entering from my keyboard? Now I will go here in the search bar text area. I clicked here and you will see it is capturing the text area. Now I will enter simply India versus, for example, India versus Australia score. I type this one. I will hit enter. Now it has given me the scoreboard. I will go here. For example, I want to capture the scoreboard of the India team. Now what I am doing, I hover my mouse on this particular score, then I hit the right click, and right click you can extract the score or you can extract the element. So I will extract the text. Now it will extract the text and save in the inner text for me. Or I can also capture the Australia score as well. I will click, I will extract, I will keep it. Now I will click on done. So when I will click on done, all these elements will be captured in my desktop flow. I will click on done. So you will see here it has captured all these steps and added to my desktop flow. So let's try to run it from here. Let me close that browser once. It means now we will run it from here. So we'll see the steps from the background. No, it is opening. Select what it is. No, it is going 1 minute. I think some pop-up is coming in between. Close window. Okay, resize window. I think because of this step I am getting the issue, so I will delete this step because I do not require this step. Let's start it from this first step. It will open the window, populate. 1 minute. I think because of this text bar, it is going to use this address bar in 2 seconds. Send key. Is an option to unpin this pop-up. Disable animation. Remote control. Let me try it again. It should work basically. Yeah, it is going to that screen. It will launch the browser. It will hit the google.com. It will hit the India versus Australia score. It will hit enter. And if you'll see, it has run successfully, and in the output data you can see it has captured the Australia score 379 and India score. So you can edit your flow accordingly. If you like, in the end I want the message box, like this is or I want to write this into the Excel file. So let's do this. What I will do, I will open the one Excel file. Excel. So for Excel file, all Excel steps, we will cover all those in the later class. So first, let me open. So what I'll do, I will open the one Excel file with a blank document, or you can open the any Excel file by giving the path of the Excel file. Now I am opening the one blank Excel file. In Excel file now, write to Excel worksheet, value to write. One minute, where I'm writing the India versus others, send key, enter, select. This is my own. So I will use the write to Excel, and the value I want to write, the output on the specified cell, we can give the address of the cell. So I will write the on column 1 and the address 1. I want to write this particular value. Check my browser is open. Close this. I will run it again.
Hi, Rajneesh.
I
Can we check if the browser is already open? Then no need to open the browser. If it is not open, then we can open it. How can we do that?
So all these things, yeah, we can like, so when the browser will open, we can, if you'll see, launch the view new browser. So we'll see it is storing this into the browser. So we can set the condition in that case uh, if my browser is already open, or if my browser is equal to any some value, then I will check the browser. It should not open that, or if my browser is not open, in that case it should open the new browser. So basically all this error handling we will cover, because this should cover. So for example, I am working on any client portal where my bot should run continuously 2 hours. So mostly on the client portal, on the website, what will happen after a certain time of period, 1 hour or 2 hour, the portal should throw the timeout error. Automatically these portal will log out after a certain time of period. So in those cases, we need to handle these portal in these kind of scenario, whether my portal is already open, or first I need to check whether I'm getting the timeout issue. So all these need to be handled properly. All these things we will cover. Like if we are doing any in the web automation classes, if my we will see if my browser is already open, then it should not open the browser again. Or we will see if my browser is getting timeout. So we need to handle all these things. If my in case of the timeout issue, then we should log in it to again. So we will create the like subflows in that case to check the if I need to launch the new browser again, or I need to work on the same web browser.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Rajneesh, can you please share us the session-wise index content so we'll be aware? So what
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
difference?
yeah. That session content. We Ankush, you will share it, or I need to prepare it,
So,
or you?
Rajneesh, you can share it. I mean, we have a group specifically with our paid candidates. We have a specific, we are have our separate group.
Uh-huh.
So you can do all the communication in that.
Okay, okay. I will share the content in that case. Give me some time. Tomorrow I will try to prepare that. And in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Okay,
So
case,
basically, our like the content we have already shared, like we with respect to all details of Power Automate Desktop and Cloud, but exactly how we will proceed with that
hmm,
content, so Rajneesh will share you.
okay,
yeah, I will share it tomorrow, or max day after tomorrow. By max, I will share the
okay.
content. I will prepare it, and I will share all the topics that we are going to cover. So this is one example of the desktop recording, but don't rely on the recording too much. Just try to start your if you are working on any use case or any project, just try to start it from the scratch. And wherever you want to do some, you are not able to understand what I need to capture in this particular element, or how to perform this action. So basically, on those action only use the recorder action. Otherwise, try to drag and drop and try to start it from the scratch basis on the action. Don't rely on recorder too much. Okay, so this is the recorder which will help us to capture the element, and it will show what if I do not know how to extract the data from the web page. So you will see it will drag this particular action, and how it will dragging all these actions. So it will help us to do all such things. This is one example of the recorder. And launch Excel we will cover. Now, uh, I will now we will jump into the loops. So loops, as most of you are already aware, loops is basically to run any particular instance multiple times. So if I want to read some value from the database again and again, and store that particular value in that variable, I will not use those action again and again. I will simply apply the loop, and into the loop I will insert all those condition which need to be performed. So for example, I have a web portal. From the web portal, I have multiple files. multiple invoices in my web portal. Now I have to download all those invoices. So I will not give the action again and again to go and download. I will apply the loop. Inside the loop, I will simply give the condition download this particular invoice and give it to me. So for example, one basic example of the loop is I want to run my loop 10 times. So simply I will give the start position as 1, end position as 10. So what it will do, simple, it will run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 steps. It will run one by one. And based on that, we can also give the uh, how at what particular step it should run, whether it should run 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, or it should run 1, 3, 5. So based on that condition, we can give the loops also. So you can see where in a loop section, we have all these action: exit loop, for each loop, loop, condition, and next loop. So first I will cover the loop. So in the loop, simply I will give the value as, if I want to loop my run 3 and I want to run it 5 times, I want to run the loop 5 times, but I will take the initial position as 3 and the end position as 10, and I want to increment these steps by 1. It will create the, it will produce the variable and store the loop value in the loop index.
यासाठी बुद्धू बनव मला
Now I will display my box.
बुद्धू बनवली आहे तुम्हाला
Can you go on mute, please?
खायला नाही आंब्याचं लोणचं आहे ना आंब्याचं नाही हे आपलं आवडीचं
So if I'll run it, so if I'll run it, it will run like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a simple basic concept if anybody is not aware on the loop part. What is loop? So it will run 3 to 8 steps. So we basically use the loop if I want to repeat any steps multiple times. In that case, we use the loops action. Then in a loop, we have the another loop also as a loop condition. So what is loop condition? Okay, so loop condition is basically, it will, 1 minute. So loop condition is basically, it will run the loop until my value is true. It will run that particular time. So if I want to run, I have some condition, my loop, for example, I have the data in an Excel file. Now in Excel file, I have the data till, let me open any Excel file. So in this particular file, I have my data till till 700 rows. I have my data and I want to apply the loop, something like that. It should run until my row has the data. So maybe this time I have these 700, my data is still 701. So it should run, my loop will run 700 time. I will give the condition like, and my value is not equals to blank, because maybe the next file I will get, I have the data till 683 rows. Next time when I will receive the file, my data is till 678 rows, or maybe I have the data till 10 rows. In those conditions, we use the loop condition. So let me quickly share the one example. I'm getting a one variable. I'm giving my value as a 10. I will apply the condition. If my value is less than 15, so my loop should run until my new this variable value will be less than 15. It will run. So I will also increment my variable. So I will increment it by 1. I will double click on this. I will click on 1. So my loop should run until my value will be less than 15. So I will run this loop. So we also have this option. Let me show you one to also quick option where you have, for example, you have created one project, and in that project, for example, you have created 200 different actions. So in that case, you need to debug your code. You want to see on any particular component whether it is working fine or not. In that case, you will not run one by one 200 step, or you will not run the entire project in one go. Then you will not able to see analyze where it is going wrong. So in that case, what you will do, we have the option as a toggle button. So toggle button, what will do, if I have the 200 step on the 150, on the step number 150, you will just click on this step like this. So what it will do, it will add the toggle here. This means your flow will stop here, and then you can use this option. This is basically a run action by action, where you can, it will help us you to debug your code, where you want to debug your code. You want to analyze in each and every condition where my flow is going. So for example, I'm running this flow. It will run, but what happened? It stop here. It stops here. Now what I'll do, I will click on next step. So you will see in my variable it is showing 10. Here also you can analyze your variables, what value it is coming. I will click on next. Now it's coming here. I will click next. It's going to this. My variable is increased to 11. You will see the value is changing here. It is getting 12. Now the value is coming 14. Now after a 14, it compare, the condition is getting false. The value is getting greater than is greater than 15. So my loop has exited. Now my loop is no more valid. So in that case, it exits the loop. Similarly, we have the this one, exit loop. So we use the exit loop is basically, if I am using working on any large data set, so where I have a large data set, but on any particular instance, my what I need, I'm able to achieve that. So in those cases, what we do, I don't want to run the entire loop on entire data 700 rows. If I want to find any particular value, so in those cases, what we'll do, we will simply use the exit loop condition, so that loop will exit from that particular instance. Otherwise, what will happen? For example, I am looking for five values from this data. This is 678 total values we have in this value, and I want to looking for five particular invoices. What will happen? My first loop will run on entire 678 data. For example, I'm running I'm getting my value on particular instance. It will run 600 times. Now in the second instance, it will able to find, but it will run 600 times. The total, my loop is running 600 into 5, so approximate 30,000 steps I am running. I am using my loop. What it will do, it will slow down the whole flow. So we need to optimize. We need to optimize wherever we can speed up the our flow. So in those cases, we basically use the exit loop condition. So for example, I will use the if condition also here. So I will take one basic example. If my value will becomes to 13, when my value will come to 13, it should exit the loop. So inside it, I'll apply the condition. If my values will get equals to 13, then it should exit the loop. I will run this from the scratch. When next it's 11, it's 12. Now it's 13. Now my value is coming 13. So it should, my condition is getting true. It should execute this action and it should exit from this loop. It is executing exit loop. It exit me from the loop and I'm getting to end condition. Now my entire loop is getting stopped. So let me give you this example in the Excel file also, how we can read the whole Excel file. And for example, I want to exit on any, because this do not have any unique value, I believe. Let me enter any unique value. Market.
You can give any name or your name also to make it unique.
Make it, sorry, what you are saying?
So I was saying you can give any other value to make it unique or any
Yeah, yeah,
your
yeah,
name also.
yeah. I'm giving the value as JP Morgan. So JP Morgan is a unique. It's not here in this condition. So what we'll do, we will use this action. I will apply the loop on this column. It should run from 2 to 78 right, rows. So it will run 678 iteration. But I want to apply the condition if my value is equal to JP Morgan. Now I'm not, I do not know whether it will comes on 674, it will come or directly on 2. Basically, we have it configured is on 13 row. So it should run from the loop. So for this step, we basically use the Excel. First, I will use the Excel steps to read the data from the Excel file. Excel. I will use the Excel as launch Excel. I will use the following document. I want to open the document. This box is basically for the variable, and this box is basically to select the file from your system. I will go to desktop and go to here. This is my file. So in this, so Power Automate by default is store everything in your variable so that you can easily get to know which action is particularly storing to which action. So this launching Excel is stored in this Excel instance. Now I want to read from the Excel. Read from the Excel sheet. So I will use the single cell. I will use the column 1 and I will use the column 2. So this is the hard coded, but we want to use the loop so that it will read the each and every value. In that case, I have hard coded the column 1 and row number 2. That means it will run the A2 cell. But I want to run the each and every row one by one. So what I will do in that case, where is loop? In that case, we will use the loop. Start position, I will start from 2 because on line number 1 is my header and my data is starting from row number 2. So I will use the position as row number 2, and the end position I will give as 678. It should increment by 1, and I will drag this step inside the loop. I will now, column will remain 1, and the row, instead of the hard-coded value, I will take this loop index number. So loop index, basically my loop index. So it will run 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like this. Now I have given this condition. Now I want to give the condition if my value is equals to. So I will give the value where it is reading the data. It is storing this data into the Excel data. I will change it to segment. For one change, let's change the variable also, so it will not create the confusion. I am creating it, storing it into the segment. Now it will loop the first operand. This segment is my column 1 that I am reading. My segment is equals to, what is JP? I will keep this in. My segment is equal to JP Morgan. Then it should exit the loop, and it should pop up the message box. Value found at row number loop index. So it should pop up something like this. So let's close this file. Saved. Let me save it on the top so that we will debug our code first to see whether all the condition is working fine. Then we will see. So first we will debug our code. Run next action. So it has launched the Excel file here. Now if you'll see the value here, if you'll see the value here, it is also will show you the value. It is matching the condition. Now it should show the true segment. Okay. I saved it in the inverted comma. It should not come into the inverted comma. 1 minute. Stop. Come as a JP Morgan. My JP Morgan. We started from the government it. So it is getting true. It will show the pop-up value found at row number 5, and it will exit the loop. Oh, it exit loop. Oh, 1 minute. It is not getting the loop condition while it and true. It should exit the loop. Okay, what is happening here actually? It is exiting from this particular loop, but this loop is keep running. We are using here two loops. One loop is basically this one. This is one particular loop, and this is the another loop. So what we need to do, we need to apply the, it should exit the whole loop. So in those cases, what we can use, we have the some flow controls. Those are like exit subflow, stop flow. So I will use the and here. We can use the and here. We can use the exit subflow as well. So I will use the and here. If it should, I will.
Rajneesh, can't we use the while loop condition instead of that loop, that outer one loop?
Instead of this loop, you are saying? No, can what you are saying?
Means we have while loop in inner loop, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
can we use only one loop to achieve this?
Yes,
Means
yes.
counter, we can add the counter or anything.
Yeah. We can use the instead of using while loop, we can use the instead of this, we can use the logical condition directly. We can avoid this loop, and we can use the I can use the logical condition. So, for example, I will use directly put the logical condition. We can remove this loop. Mm, Instead of that, let me delete it. And so I will directly use the logical condition if my value segment is my segment is equal to JP Morgan, then it should, I delete the pop-up as well. So that's what you are referring now.
Rajni, sorry to interrupt. This segment variable give the value of first column, isn't it? Or it
No,
give the
not first column, values from this row. So let me give you how it will work. The segment, what we have do first, we have what we first we have do. We are running the loop from 2 to 678. So how it will run 2 to 78? It will run 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 till 678. The loop will run. Then I am using the action read from Excel worksheet. Read from Excel worksheet. What will it do? It will read the one particular cell from the Excel file. But in an Excel file, we have to give the one column and the row. Which particular column or row you want to read. So if I will give one on the column, so this is my column. This is my column, which is 1. And this is my row, which is 2. So if I'll go 1 and 2, it will run this value. But we
okay.
have done
Can we use the column name instead of this column number?
column name. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You mean column name with segment?
Yeah.
No, segment you cannot do. Uh, you cannot do that thing. But in that case, you have to apply some logical condition. If For example, I do not know the column name. My column name can be anything. Means it is coming there now. Next time it can be come to column C. So in that case, what you need to do, you have to apply some other condition to find out the loop position. Like you will apply the loop on the columns, and you will give the condition. You will give the condition if my value is equal to segment, then it should return that particular number. Then it will give you the number. The basis on that you can get the column number. But if you'll apply the direct header field name, it will not work like that. You should get the value of the your field name first. After that, you
Okay.
can apply the field.
Okay. So in the loop, we have hard coded the end value. So can we get the row number and use that variable there? Start loop and end loop.
Which variable? Okay, can
And
you? Hmm,
uh, for the loop, we have given start from second and the end from 268
hmm,
or
hmm, hmm,
67.
hmm,
So there is a possibility the record number can increase or decrease.
hmm.
So instead of hard code and loop value, can you find the last row of
Okay, okay, okay. Got it. Your questions. You want to? I do not. You are saying dynamically to get the last row of the data
yeah,
instead
yeah.
of hard coded. Okay. So in that case, we have the steps. We have the function in the Power Automate itself. Excel Power Automate itself to get the last row. Except get this step. Get first free. So launch Excel, and I will use this action. Get first free row, first free column. What it will do, it will return me the first free row and free column. What it means? Same 678, it will return me 678, and from here it will return me this column Q address. So instead of hard coded to 678, I will give directly here to uh, loop first free row. So now it will automatically pick the last row and it will run the loop, and it will run the one, it will read the cells one by one.
Okay.
Now if the Excel part also we will cover once I will share the content, because Excel is a very crucial part when you are working on any project, because most of the project you will get your input from the Excel file itself. So all
Yes.
this step also we will cover. So if my condition is equals to JP Morgan, then it should display the message box. Loop index, and it should uh, like loop should set loop. This one I will use because I don't want to. My in that case my condition not true, it will run 678 times. I don't want to do that. So we'll see first free row. It is coming 679 because my data I have till 679. Government mid market JP Morgan, display message 5, exit loop, done. So now it is reading the value and it has exit the loop. So for same condition, my value is JP Morgan. I want to not here, it will run multiple times. In that case, I will keep it as 662. And if I'll run it, it should run 62 times. So I will run it in one go, so it will not take too much time. So from here, we can also review if you are using multiple variables and multiple values, you can review your flow, what value it is capturing, what data it is showing. So value found at row number 62. Now it has exit the loop. So this is the loop condition. Now we have another loop. This is exit loop. Now we have another loop is for each. So for each loop is basically we run the number of iteration when we have the number. While loop we will run until my condition will true. For each we basically run on the objects. So for example, I want to run the loop. I have the Excel. In Excel I have the multiple sheets, so we use the for each loop those particular scenario. Or if I have the list, I want to run the iteration on each list. On those cases we use the for each loop. So let's see the one example of the for each loop. So for that, first I will create the one list. I will create the one list, blank list.
Yeah, hi Rajneesh. So one question.
Yeah,
Can we know the data type of that variables?
data type of the variable in the loop, in the properties, I think you can see. 1 minute, let me see that one also, because
Yeah,
if
because from the activities we are creating some variables, but we
so
are
in this
not
one
able to.
you don't know, you don't have the option to select the data type of the variable. In the cloud flow, you will get this particular option to define the data type of the variable. But here it will automatically pick. I think when it will run, it will show you here the property. Let me see. From here it will not show. If I execute this, mm, from here you can see only the numeric value. Or in that
Okay.
case, it will show you the text value by default. So in the Power Automate, by default, it will pick the data types. In the cloud flow, you need to define. In cloud flow, it will not pick by default. Here you need to define the data type as well.
Yeah, Anish, thank you.
So for each, we are going to cover for each. I will create the new list. I will make the name as a new list. Now I want to add the new item to my list. For example, I will add the cities. I will add Delhi, and I will add it in this list. So for example, we have any list where, so for each we use basically on the objects list, collection, or something like Excel. In the Excel we have the sheets. So in those cases we use the for each loop. Now I want to use the for each loop in this collection. What I will do, I will drag. I will use value to iterate. Simple. I will give the list. What I have list. It will run current item in the list. I will display a message box, and I will store this into the current item, and similarly it will work. It will return me the each iteration. So this is for each loop, basically, where we use the for each loop. So we have covered the condition, we have covered the loops. Any questions so far with these two criteria conditions, loops and condition? Okay.
For
So
loops, however, you have done, Rajneesh. Like that, can we do for the Excel also?
okay, okay. For which one you want to do?
Means Excel is also means from the Excel, if we read, it will be converted to some data table or something like that, no?
Okay, okay, some data table. Okay, okay. You are saying to reading some data from the Excel and convert it into the list. Okay, yeah. So let me delete these actions.
Means basically, if I want to read multiple columns,
Read multiple columns.
data in multiple columns.
Okay, and no, you want to, and I
Suppose there
mean,
are three columns.
hmm,
If I want to read the data in the three columns,
hmm,
segment, country, and the product,
hmm. Through
can
the
I
loop.
loop? Can I iterate through each, like for each?
For each, yes, yes, you can
Means in
iterate.
UiPath, basically I'm comparing with the UiPath.
Hmm,
In UiPath,
hmm,
basically we used to use like for each data, for each row in the data table, something like that.
Similarly, it will work here also.
Uh,
So I will remove this action. Launch Excel. I will choose here, and then I will root. Then I will read range of cell. I will give this start column 1, and row for now I'm keeping default. Otherwise, you can use the last free column action. And column I will keep as 3, and row also I will keep as 678. So I'm keeping column 1, and column is column 3. And
Rajneesh, I think start row will be 1, right?
uh, uh, yes, yes. I'm sorry. That row will be 1. It should run from range A1 to C78. Correct. It will read this condition now. I will use add item to list. It is storing in Excel data. Add item, Excel data into the list. Now I will debug this because it will be huge list. So I don't want to read the whole list. This one. I will use the run next action. One minute, it is running the run next action. For each iteration in current item 0, display message current item I will give current item 0. 1. Let me see in 0. So you want to see one item one by one, huh? This is your
Yeah,
question, huh?
yeah. Each row value means for each
Each
iteration.
each row value, huh?
Yeah,
So first let me try with 0. It will return the first row. Then we will use, instead of 0, we will use the hard coded one variable. So it is giving the first row. It is running only one time, so I need to run it multiple time. I will use for each store in the current item. Again, add item into the list. For each value list. Display message box. Current item in list. List. List database. Is running one time. Current item 678. I need to for each I need to see how to work with for each, but we can use the other loop. Like I want to use the loop, this loop with this particular scenario. We can use this loop as I will give the position as 1, and in end position I will give the count divided by 1. uh, and I will display the message box here. Okay. You want to read the all value now display. So what I'll do, I will use the read from no, you want to pop up the each and every value. So in that case I will use the action read from Excel worksheet. Let me try this one. list should run list dot what is the list dot count. First we drop the one list dot
I
count.
think it will be list. Means we can go with the list variable because it is showing list data table. You
Is
are in a view.
list variable you are saying here?
Yes, you have a
No,
view
no,
in the variables, right? There it is showing whole data table.
no. Here we need to give the count. What is the count it is taking? 1 minute. Display message. List count. List count. Okay, list. It should be list dot items dot count. List dot rows dot count. I think list dot list dot rows dot count. List rows dot count is not there. Row. See, is there any function to which will give me item or this item list on count and for each loop for each value to iterate list.
We can directly go with the Excel data.
Excel data we can go easily. There is no challenge with that. Only this list. If we want to basically go with directly Excel data.
Yeah,
In
that's
that
also okay. Our motto is just to pick each and every value from that row. Suppose if I want to fill a form of a particular person, his age, name, and everything will be there in single row, right?
So, okay.
In those scenarios, how we will handle like that?
Okay, so first I will get the I will first use the launch Excel. Then, for example, I will use the first free row, get first free row, or I will use this action to get the first free row action. Then I will use the simply I will use the loop. I will read it from 2 and I will run the loop till first free row remain by 1. Now you're saying you want to read the data. So Excel I will read from Excel. You want to read one data in a single action or one by one in three different variables?
Yeah, anything. Three different variables, suppose.
So three different variables. We will give the. So for this first column, I will use this. So column will define the column index of the data. So one means column one, which is my segment column, and this one is my loop index. So it will run the value one. If I want to, my column number two is the country. I will simply give the here column position 2. Similarly here I will give the column position 3. I will not change the row because row will loop one by one to each row. So if I will use the toggle because data is huge. So we'll see here. Okay, I have stored only single variable. We need to change the variable also here. 1 minute. So by default, it is capturing this one. So I will change the value as segment. I will store this into the country. I will store it to the product. So we need to define the variable as well where you want to store all these things. So this is my country, Canada. Product is coming as this character era and segment is government. Similarly, it will run on each loop and it will change the values.
Understood.
It will changing because it is coming common in those cases.
Yeah, Rajneesh, is there any way if we use like only one read from Excel worksheet and then it read like it will read complete data from column A1 to suppose Z, like final, like
Huh.
complete data, right? You understood, right? And
Yes.
then we are iterating it with for each row. Like I'm comparing it with UiPath also. Like it will reach, and then from current item, then we will assign it to a variable in the for each loop itself. Can we do
Yeah,
it that way?
yeah, I understand it. So you are saying uh, get the whole range and store
Yes.
inside the collection, and
No, no,
from the
not
collection.
collection. No, no, not collection. That data table variable itself will contain complete
Yes.
data.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
using a for each loop here, then current
Hmm.
item,
Hmm.
suppose current item, then so segment is a current item, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Then every time when the loop will run row by row, each
Hmm.
value of each column will get assigned to that variable. You
Hmm.
understood?
So getting the range stored into the data table, and you want to see if I want to read this value one by one, I will read it. This particular.
Complete, yeah, just suppose segment variable is going. So if second row is running, then the government will get assigned to segment variable and
Hmm. Hmm.
Canada will get assigned to country variable.
Hmm.
Similarly, whatever rows we want, we can assign it to that particular variable and we can get that value at that point of time when the loop is running. Then we can paste it into another Excel sheet also if we want.
Yes, yes, we that we can do. But you are you saying you want to run the any particular data from the data set basis on the country.
No. My point was simple that like instead of using multiple read from Excel worksheet, we can use only one read from Excel worksheet before starting our loop. Then we can iterate to that data table variable using for each, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And using that current item default variable is getting created in for each, right? That current item. Then we can use that current item and
Yes.
assign this segment, country, product, like this we
Okay.
can assign.
Okay, got it. Your question you were saying, so instead of getting all these three steps, we will store into the data table, and from there we can use the whatever we want to do with that data. How do we want to
Yes.
manipulate that data? Yeah. So yeah, that I will show you. So right now I was trying with list, but list I'm not sure. But we have the data table option in the Power Automate desktop. That
I
I will.
think list will not work because this is the data table type, right? And list is
Um,
completely different.
list no the list
So it
I
will not
believe
get
list
matched
list
together.
should also work. Data table will definitely work, but I believe list should also work in that case, because this is
I
what
think,
this is basically the collection of the data that we are storing into the list, and list.
yeah, but while working with Excel, the data table variable is suitable, I think.
Hmm,
List variable will be
hmm.
suitable for collection of some other data which we are extracting from other
Yeah.
input source.
Yeah. So, okay. So we'll cover in tomorrow class, because today time is almost over. So tomorrow I will show you that
Okay.
example. So basically we have this option, data table, and in data table we have all these actions. So,
Okay.
so I was thinking to cover it later, but if you have raised this question, so I will cover in tomorrow to play with this data table. We will store all this data into the data table, and from the data table we can iterate the value.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we can. Uh,
Okay then. Any other question if anyone have? Okay, then I think, yes, Sachin, I will share the index content most probably by tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Okay, then thank you everyone.
Uh,
Yeah.
Rajneesh, do we going to cover documentation related topics, means higher topics?
Documentation.
Yeah, means in that we are doing invoicing processing and related to Copilot, means connection with the Copilot and other connectors.
Connectors, yeah, connectors we will cover. So that we will do. So connectors is basically mostly we use with the cloud flow, and that we will do what all the premium connectors we are what are the custom connectors, what are the standard connector that we get in the trial version itself, that we are going to cover.
uh, I think she is asking about document understanding and like integration with AI. Like
Integrate
how it,
AI.
yeah,
Hmm.
is it
Okay.
possible in Power Automate here?
Document understanding. No, I didn't get the question. Document understanding, what you mean?
Actually, in our automation A360, there is a one means component that is documentation. Means we have to train the AI model.
Okay,
Uh,
okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
that type of.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, so you're saying, so you have one, if for example you have one particular invoice document and you want to,
Means we have a sample of invoice documents and
uh,
we train the model, and
hmm,
according to that train model we process the another bunch of invoices and getting
hmm,
the information from that invoices.
hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay, that thing was, yeah. For that we have also have the in the Power Automate we have the AI Builder option. So AI Builder we will cover AI Builder. So for AI Builder, using the AI Builder, we need the premium license that I will discuss with the Ankush and the other trainer, because they have the one business premium account. So with using that premium account, I will show you how we can train the document processing in the Power Automate using AI Builder.
Because mostly market now is working on these kind of things, and
Yeah,
market also want these things with the skills in these means, uh, in candidates. So
yeah,
we
yeah.
have means we need these things in our course.
Yeah. I will add that part also. Even currently, the project I am working, that is also related to the AI Builder, because what is the scenario in that project? We receive the some invoice detail from multiple vendors, not from any single vendor. Because if you have one standard format that we can anyways use with the PDF extract. If you will see in the Power Automate desktop, we have one action as mm, extract from the PDF. So what it will do, it will extract the text from the PDF if you have the standard PDF, and you can do the your manipulation with the help of the text function. But what what is the challenge in that project? We have received the invoice from the more than 100 different vendor, and we cannot ask every vendor to standardize your format. So what we are doing, we are training the model basis on the collection. So for 100 vendors, we are taking the because AI Builder there is a requirement of minimum 5 documents. So we are taking the five sample for each vendors, and we are training the model. So what will happen? Any document will come regardless of any vendor. My AI Builder should extract that particular content from the that invoice document, and it should give me the information.
Yeah, that same thing I'm asking.
Yeah.
That different
Yeah.
type of invoices or any kind
Hmm.
of document, we have to train the model, and that model, according to that model, the means other bunch will be proceed.
Yes. Basis on the my AI model training, it should give me the output from that document. Yeah, that we are going to cover.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else?